Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying any attention to the NFL landscape lately, especially around the AFC North, you know that things are heating up. The Steelers are not one to sit back and watch their division rivals make moves without responding in kind. And right now, there's a lot of buzz about what Pittsburgh might be cooking up in this offseason. It's a season of strategic moves, bold trades, and bold visions to get back to glory. And one of the most intriguing rumors swirling around involves a potential blockbuster trade that could shake up the Steelers' receiving core and set them up for a real challenge in the AFC. So let's talk about what's been floating around the rumor mill. The Steelers, after making a splash by acquiring star wide receiver DK Metcalf from the Seattle Seahawks, are apparently eyeing another move. Yes, you heard that right, it's not just about Metcalf anymore. The word is that Pittsburgh is looking at adding another quality receiver, someone with the potential to step into a starting role and bring some much-needed depth to the position. Why? Well, because even with Metcalf, the team still has some gaps, especially after trading away George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys recently. That's right, the Steelers are now a little thinner at the receiver position than they'd like to be, and they're actively exploring options. Now, here's where things get interesting. A recent report from Corey Woodruff of For the Win suggested that the Steelers might be eyeing Metchie, a talented receiver from the Houston Texans, as a potential trade target. Metchie, a former Alabama standout, had a rough start to his NFL career, mainly because of health issues. Coming out of college, he was considered one of the top receivers in his draft class, a player with exceptional route running, hands, and agility. But his rookie season was lost due to a serious knee injury, and he was diagnosed with acute promyelocytic leukemia, which forced him to miss his entire first year in the league. That's a tough blow for any young player, especially one with so much promise. However, Metchie made a remarkable recovery, returning to play in 16 games in 2023 and then stepping up again in 2024. His stats may not jump off the page: 16 catches for 158 yards in his second year, followed by 24 catches for 254 yards and a touchdown in his third, but what's important is the potential. This is a player who, when healthy, has shown he can be a reliable target with the ability to stretch defenses and make contested catches. The fact that he's only 24 years old and has already demonstrated resilience after battling health issues makes him an intriguing option for the Steelers, especially considering their need for a versatile receiver who can step into a starting role. And let's not forget, Pittsburgh is loaded with draft capital for 2026. They could very well afford to part with a conditional fifth-round pick in that draft to acquire Metchie, especially since Houston's receiver room is pretty crowded right now. The Texans have Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, Tank Dell, rookie Jalen Noel, and Jalen Hayes, among others. Metchie in this scenario would have a real opportunity to carve out a significant role, potentially even as a starter opposite Metcalf, with the veteran Robert Woods moving into a more reserved rotational role. It's a move that makes sense on many levels: a young receiver with upside, a team looking to rebuild and add depth, and a division rival that might see Metchie as expendable given their current roster. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Is this just a rumor? Or is there substance behind it? Well, while nothing has been officially announced by either team, the timing and the logic behind this potential trade make it very plausible. The Steelers are always looking to improve, and given their recent history of shrewd trades and draft picks, it wouldn't be surprising if they're exploring this avenue. Plus, with the NFL's ever-changing landscape, teams that are proactive often have the edge come playoff time. Let's talk a little more about Metchie himself. As I mentioned earlier, he was drafted in the second round in 2022 by Houston. Coming out of Alabama, he was considered one of the top wide receiver prospects, a player with excellent hands, good speed, and route-running skills that could have made him a top-tier receiver in the league. Unfortunately, injuries and health issues put a pause on his development, but his resilience and his ability to come back from such adversity speak volumes about his character and his potential. When healthy, Metchie can be a game changer. Just look at his college tape, where he racked up over 10 receiving yards in 2021, showcasing his ability to be a primary target. In Pittsburgh, with a quarterback like Kenny Pickett developing and a coaching staff that's eager to build a competitive, explosive offense, Metchie could be a perfect fit. He's the kind of player who can thrive in a system that emphasizes quick routes, yards after catch, and making contested catches in tight windows. And pairing him with DK Metcalf, a true deep threat and physical specimen, could create a dynamic 1-2 punch that defenses would struggle to contain. Plus, with the versatility of Calvin Austin who's shown flashes of explosiveness, the Steelers could have a very potent receiving core that keeps defenses guessing. Of course, there's always the question of how much the Texans value Metchie and what they might want in return. Houston has a pretty solid roster, and their priority right now might be to clear some cap space or pick up draft assets that can help them rebuild faster. Sending Metchie away for a conditional fifth-round pick in 2026 isn't a huge price to pay if they see him as expendable, especially considering their depth at receiver. And for the Steelers, adding a young, talented receiver with starting potential at that price point is a savvy move that could pay dividends down the line. Now, what does this mean for the Steelers' overall strategy? Well, it shows that they're serious about contending this season and beyond. They're not just making small moves, they're aiming for impact players who can elevate the team. With the NFL becoming more pass-oriented, having multiple reliable targets is critical. The Steelers know that. They've built a strong defense over the years, but their offense needs to keep pace, especially as teams like Kansas City, Buffalo, and Cincinnati continue to push the envelope. And let's not forget, the Steelers have a rich history of developing receivers. Think about players like Hines Ward, Antonio Brown, and more recently, Juju Smith-Schuster. They've always valued versatile, reliable pass catchers who can step up in big moments. Metchie, with his background, his resilience, and his potential, fits right into that mold. If this trade materializes, it could be a game-changer for Pittsburgh's offense, giving Kenny Pickett a new weapon to work with and making the Steelers a much more formidable team in the AFC. Looking ahead, the AFC is shaping up to be a battleground. The Chiefs are still at the top, but teams like the Bengals and Bills are lurking and always ready to strike. The Ravens are reloading, and the Jaguars are showing they're not just a flash in the pan. In this context, the Steelers need to be aggressive. They need to match or even outpace their division rivals in talent and strategic moves. Trading for a player like Metchie could be a part of that puzzle, a move to ensure they're not left behind. Plus, it's worth mentioning that Pittsburgh's front office has a history of making shrewd moves in the offseason. They're not afraid to take risks if they believe it's for the betterment of the team. Whether it's draft picks, trades, or free agent signings, they always seem to have a clear vision of where they want to go. And right now, that vision appears to be a balanced, explosive offense that complements their already stout defense. In the broader sense, this potential trade also signals the Steelers' commitment to building a sustainable, competitive team. They're not just trying to patch things up for one season, they're looking at the long term. A player like Metchie, with his youth and upside, fits perfectly into that plan. It's about developing talent, creating a versatile roster, and maintaining their identity as a team that's tough, disciplined, and capable of winning big games. Now, I want to touch a little on the current state of the Steelers' roster and season prospects. Last year was a step forward for Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett looked promising in his rookie year, showing flashes of what he can become with more experience. The defense remains one of the best in the league, led by guys like TJ Watt, who's a game wrecker, and a solid secondary that can shut down top receivers. The question mark has always been the offense, especially the passing game. With the addition of Metcalf and potentially Metchie, that group could be transformed into a real threat. And let's be honest, Steelers fans, we all want to see the team back in the playoffs, making deep runs, and perhaps even chasing another Super Bowl. That's the ultimate goal, and every move made in this offseason seems to be pointing toward that. The team's front office is clearly aware of the opportunities available and is trying to maximize their chances. Whether it's through draft strategy, roster upgrades, or bold trades like the one rumored here, they're setting the stage for a competitive, exciting season. Of course, with every trade rumor, there's always the question of timing and chemistry. How quickly can a player like Metchie adapt to the Steelers' system? Will he be ready to contribute early in the season? Those are questions that only time will answer. But the potential is there, and the Steelers are known for their player development. With the right coaching staff and a bit of luck, Metchie could become a key piece in their offensive puzzle. In the end, the NFL offseason is always full of surprises. Some rumors turn into reality and some fade away. But as Steelers fans, we should stay optimistic and excited about the possibilities. The team has the pieces and the cap space to make impactful moves, and this potential trade for John Metchie fits right into that narrative. It's a move that could turn out to be a steal if he continues to develop and reach his potential. So, as we keep an eye on the latest updates and rumors, remember that the Steelers are always in the mix. They're a proud franchise with a rich history of winning, and they're hungry once again to bring another Lombardi home. The offseason is just heating up, and I promise you there will be plenty more news, analysis, and surprises coming your way. Stay tuned, keep supporting your team, and let's get ready for an exciting NFL season ahead. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think adding John Metchie would make a real difference? Do you believe the Steelers should be aggressive in the trade market this offseason? Or do you think they should focus on developing what they already have? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers organization. Remember, your voice counts, and don't forget, I'll be back soon with even more updates, insights, and news about your beloved Steelers. We're in this together, and I can't wait to see what this team does next. Stay passionate, stay loyal, and let's keep rooting for that iconic black and gold. Thanks for tuning in and see you soon with the latest in Steelers land.